talk about the role that CIS plays in our school corporation. We have school counselors at both our elementary building and our junior senior high building, but CIS is able to fill a certain niche that the counselors are not able to do, and that is the connection between our families and our community.
In terms of scope of education and those community partnerships that the schools have, obviously CIS is one of our biggest community partners. And as our demographics change, as students become more mobile, families moving not only from town to town, but within Wayne County, within district to district, their academic needs, of course, are increasing because of our state standard demands and assessments. And of course, a lot of times in order for a student to be successful academically, they have to have those basic needs taken care of.
Probably the largest one is the free and reduced lunch rate. 15 years ago, our free and reduced lunch rate was 8%. It's now risen to 38%. And that has created a lot of problems for us as far as are we meeting the needs of the students both academically and socially.
One of the main obstacles we face, we have a continually growing at-risk population here in Richmond Community Schools. And so with that obviously comes the challenge of making sure that we're providing all the necessary services, the wraparound services, that really assist our students in their educational experience. And with that also comes funding challenges from the state level to make sure that we continue to be able to offer the programs that we need for our students to help them be as successful as they can be in our schools.
Our families have many needs, and the CIS coordinator is the linchpin between community and our schools. When students need connections with social services, it's our CIS coordinator at the elementary that helps to get that done. She is very connected to all of the support organizations in our community, actually across our county. And because CIS is county-wide, the network that CIS coordinators have between districts is also very important.
Teachers value them and their input because they know they can provide a resource, whether it be as simple as, check in to encourage them to do their homework. If they're having an attendance issue, that our site coordinators could, possibly provide sometimes as simple as easy as an alarm clock, or if there's home issues. I know CIS also coordinates the bed in the bag program, school supplies. So I feel like our teachers reach out to them as a way to support the student and in a way that they can't.
So one of the biggest ways that communities and schools assist us in our schools is actually working very closely with our principals and with our counselors to really look at the things that our students are going through, particularly outside of the school day, to figure out what they need to do to help impact our students as they come into our school building. And then address those needs to really make sure that we can try to eliminate the distractions that may take place within the school day because of what's happening outside of school and at home. And so they really step up and meet the needs of our kids in many ways, whether that be with clothing or food or just someone to talk to, so that way they can be focused when they go in the classroom. And it's been said of students, the ones who are loved at home come to school to learn, the ones who aren't come to school to be loved. And we truly look at that as a place where our communities and schools representatives really step up to the plate and fill that void in many of our students' lives.
A lot of them do tutoring. They also provide the Gleaners, the food bank. They help coordinate, if students need glasses. They may even work with the nurse on the dental visits that we have at our schools. So I know that on every given day, there's something different that they help provide to our students. And that, in a sense, makes it easier for our teachers and our administrators to provide the students the support they need. So it's definitely a team effort.
Lots of good things happen every single day, and community schools are the ones who help that get done.
All the schools involved in CIS started in the early 2000s. And because of that, we have seen different needs for communities and schools, and Communities and Schools has responded. It's a very flexible type of organization. the persons that we work with. We've really been lucky at Centerville Abington because we really have had really good site coordinators.
And she knows the particular needs of Nettle Creek School Corporation families. She has connections to service organizations, and she's the one who brings those groups together to maximize the positive effect for our school families. It's interesting, when our community was in crisis not long ago, our Communities and Schools coordinator, Mrs. Ullery, swooped in. She had the connections already established, and she swooped in to give this particular family a lot of support that I'm afraid we wouldn't have been able to address as a school corporation. Again, they're the connection between the community services and our families.
They have fulfilled a social economic need and educational support that a lot of kids don't have. Just getting up in the morning, coming to school prepared. They don't have that support in many cases, and the Communities and Schools personnel, site coordinators, have filled that need.
Our site coordinators work very closely with our principals and with our teachers to really step in and meet the needs of our students in ways that becomes very difficult for our teachers to have time or even the opportunity, the resources to meet. And so they work very closely with them to meet those needs, so that way when the student is in the classroom, they can focus on the task at hand, and that is gaining a mastery of the subject matter that is before them. So they really help with supporting the other things that are going on and meeting the needs of our students.
So I feel like in the future, the community partnerships in Wayne County will need to expand. There will need to be a greater service to the schools in order for everyone to continue to be successful. I think we're very fortunate in Wayne County within our 5 school districts to have a lot of successful programming and a lot of caring people, but as the needs grow, we'll definitely still need to have our programs grow. So as we look forward in the next 5 to 10 years, I hope we can have an increased community involvement in our schools, because maybe we can, again, to attract a lot of our students to stay in Wayne County and give back for all the great things that all of us are doing now in Wayne County.
The thing that I value most about our site coordinators is just the way that they work so closely with our administrators and with our teachers, and the fact that they take that real hands-on approach where they're willing to jump in. And one example I'll give you is this summer at summer school, we had several of our site coordinators working at Crestdale Elementary, which is where we hosted our summer school. And during the summer, we don't necessarily have food pantries going on. We don't have a way to provide the food for our students. Yet they knew of 2 or 3 boys, brothers in particular, who were really struggling during summer school. And a lot of that was coming from the fact that they didn't have food and they weren't sure where the next meal was going to come from. So in talking with the mother, they had tried to work out some different things, and they got together and were able to pull resources from their different buildings that they had left over from the school year to put together some really important, necessary stopgaps, if you will, to be able to provide food and necessities for our kids. And just to see the care that they had, the passion that they had, that was driving them as they did this to go outside of their way and outside of what they were really required to do to meet the needs of our students, was just something that really struck home to me. And I think that just plays out over and over on a daily basis within Richmond Community Schools in partnership with our community school site coordinators.
People come to me and they ask, what can we do to support our schools? They understand, whether they actually have kids in our schools or whether their kids have already graduated, they understand that the relationship between communities and our schools is very important, and that it's all about quality of life for all of our citizens. And again, they ask, what can we do to help? And this is our go-to answer. Our go-to answer is, communities and schools can use your support.
One of the unique opportunities that I have is obviously to be the superintendent of Richmond Community Schools, but then also to be a board member of Communities and Schools. And so I get to see a lot of the things that go on behind the scenes, and then also the impact that it has on a first-hand basis within our schools. And one of the things that continually impresses me as a board member for Communities and Schools is the impact that all of our staff members have and their willingness to go above and beyond. But then also as a superintendent of schools is to see how much those site coordinators and how much Communities and Schools in general means to our principals. and to our teachers. And as we talk through different things here in Richmond Community Schools and look at what are our resources that we have, what programs are we going to continue to invest in, the thing that comes back over and over again is just the importance that communities and schools has and the role that they play with our students and how important that partnership is. And knowing where we are financially as a board member of communities and schools, the great job that they do with the resources that we have, it's a great opportunity for those who are willing to give and support. Your dollars go directly to impact students and families here in the community.